This incredible workhorse in Desert Storm filled out a number of roles such as saving lives in CASEVAC and HDS, Heli Delivery System, flying supplies between frigates in the Persian Gulf. This is the story of the Royal Navy Sea Kings in Desert Storm. There were two types of Sea Kings in the Gulf, the HC Mark IV and the HAS Mark V. The aircraft in the Gulf were fitted with sand filters on top of their engines, helping get rid of most of the sand trying to enter the engine when in a hover. Both used the GEC avionics sandpipper flare pod, and this was important due to the strict rules of engagement in Desert Storm. The linked HAS Mark III with its Sea Spray monopulse radar and Sea Skua missiles were already combat tested in the Falklands, and therefore the Navy was relatively happy with its ability to search, attack and neutralise Iraqi vessels. The problem was that the Lynxes needed better identification of targets to abide by the strict rules of engagement. During Desert Storm, the Lynxes didn't have the avionics to do this independently. They weren't the HMA-8 versions of the Lynx. So there was a doctrine put in place for a sandpipper equipped Sea King to stand off at a safe distance, visually IDing the potential Iraqi vessel for the Lynx to destroy. This worked well, especially in the defeat of the Iraqi Navy at the Battle of Bubiyan Island, known as the Bubiyan Blowout. In total, there were, I believe, 4 jungly squadrons in Desert Storm: 826, 845, 846 and 848, which was a war squadron. The weather was hot, but mostly nice. Things got a little difficult when flying in a 30°C cabin of a Sea King, the AR-5 Aircrew gas masks fitted. In the work up to the Gulf War, or in other words, for the air war, the Sea Kings based on the vessels would be flying long-range supply missions up and down the Arabian Gulf in a heli delivery system. The Sea King's range was exceptional. It could fly for 6 hours if need be. Of course, this would be traded off by the amount of payload that you wish to carry. The crews would be getting in on some low-level desert practice just in case the war went in that direction, which thankfully it didn't. The ground war was so short that once they were going into Iraq, they were picking up Iraqi POWs and injured British soldiers, placing them in stretchers in the rear of the cabin. Their missions were mainly short hops to help support the army by offering casualty evacuation or CASEVAC, or bringing ammunition to the artillery pieces and crew. This would entail a lot of low-level flying over the desert, and the Sea King crews had discovered that they could plug in, say, 50 feet into the altimeter holding. They could fly over the flat desert with night vision goggles with relative comfort and ease. Usually this would be done over sea, but the nature of terrain allowed them to do this. They would set the warning bug to around 10% lower than their set terrain, so they would occasionally get a little beep when going over a sand dune. This worked a treat, and just had to remember to turn on the warning bug when they started these low-level operations. The Sea Kings were based near King Khalid military city in Saudi. Crews had dug out their own foxholes into pretty solid sand that they were set up nearby. The aircraft would be used as it was operationally designed to do, mostly independently, responding to requests from the army. Being based in Saudi, they would see Scuds fly over the camp. On one instance, a few Scuds were launched nearby, and one was coming low level over the camp, and a Patriot was launched to intercept it. The Patriot took a low level course and detonated the Scud above the camp, sending light shrapnel into some of the tents and some parked RAF Pumas. 826C Flight was deployed right before the Gulf. I don't think this is a jungly squadron, I'm not sure. Don't know my Royal Navy stuff. Correct me in the comments. This squadron were the only helicopters and crew deployed from Royal Navy Air Station Culdrose. The anti-submarine warfare equipment was removed from the aircraft and had been refitted with the prototype equipment called Demon Camera, a handheld mine hunting video system to detect shallow moored mines. This proved to be largely ineffective, and the crews resorted to visually detecting mines from 500 feet. These were then destroyed by Royal Navy EOD divers deployed from the helicopter. The crew for these missions consisted of 2 pilots, 1 observer, 1 aircrewman, 1 diving supervisor and 3 divers. After the Gulf, some Sea Kings took part in Operation Haven in Turkey and Operation Manna in Bangladesh. The alkali removable temporary finish paint was removed, but the aircraft retained their invasion stripes, which needed to be removed in the depot at the end of their deployment. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day.